As we look at the current community, the word of the day is revolution, a word that in this context means a dramatic and wide-reaching change in the way something works or is organized or in people's ideas about it. Now, you're probably wondering rightly, how does this tie into Geometry Dash? Well, in order to properly understand the revolution that our community is going through right now, we have to go back, way back, all the way back to 2015. We start with a single person, a single individual that nearly every player in this game is tied to, in one way or another. And it's this guy, Riot. Riot is known for a hell of a lot, and is probably worthy of his own video, but for the sake of time, let's just look at one aspect of his career. Funnily enough, that aspect is also inextricably tied to just about everything in the community as well, Bloodbath. Bloodbath was a level that was made in 2015 and was verified by Riot. I would argue that this level is arguably the most important level in the entire game, simply because of one overarching aspect, the ship. Strafe flying was, at the time the level was released, something you quite literally never saw in levels, and if you did, it was in very, very small amounts. But Bloodbath was different. Bloodbath used straight flying as a way of achieving difficulty, which was a skill that was incredibly hard and unintuitive for many players at the time. This is where we circle back to the revolution part of this video. Many of you have probably heard the term the 144Hz revolution before, but you might not know what it's referring to. Well, this is it. Bloodbath and its verifier, Riot, started the 144Hz revolution in the community, with huge percentages of the player base buying 144Hz in the time since Bloodbath was released. If you don't know what 144Hz is, very, very simply, it just makes the ship and wave much easier to maneuver, and it also decreases input delay. Nowadays, you'll even see some players upgrading to 240Hz, which gives a small edge over even 144Hz players. Okay, so why does this matter? Well, having a large portion of the player community acquire hardware that raises the skill ceiling has led to some ridiculously hard levels being made, hence why the 144Hz revolution is such a big deal. There have been a few other big revolutions in the way that we played Geometry Dash since, but I would say the only one worth mentioning in this video would be the Mega Collab revolution, which was, similarly to Bloodbath, a direct result of one level, Ocular Miracle. If you'd like to see a video on Ocular Miracle and why I think it's the Bloodbath of our time in terms of importance, leave a like or comment or message me or something like that. I'd be interested to hear some input. I digress. Now let's talk about the revolution that we're experiencing right now. One that I would honestly say is one of the most interesting shifts in our community that I've witnessed. Like the other examples, this current revolution starts with one single catalyst. In this case, it's a person, just like it was with Riot and the 144Hz revolution. This time, however, the revolution has nothing to do with how we play the game or how we create levels in it, it's how we consume content, and what kind of content we as a community choose to consume. And it all boils down to this guy. If you don't know who this is, then A, how on earth did you find this video, and B, this is Nepesta. Nepesta is a player that needs no introduction, as he recently became one of the very few Geometry Dash YouTubers to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is a huge number, and it didn't come from nowhere. The YouTube algorithm is kept very secret by Google, because if someone found out how to exploit the algorithm in a way to inflate their sub count, it would be a very bad situation for YouTube. However, there are some notable aspects of the YouTube algorithm that are fairly obvious. For one, it likes videos that are usually 8 to 10 minutes long, and particularly videos on trendy subjects. Nepesta, algorithmically, was a perfect storm. After he verified Kinos, his video was shown on several channels with huge followings, and was a huge internet meme for a while. Because of that, Kinos is one of the most viewed Geometry Dash verification videos in history. It should be no surprise that Nepesta's sub count went nuclear after this, but here's the kicker. It never slowed down. That shouldn't have happened, because that's not how getting a huge viral video works on YouTube, I should know. And yet, here we are. It's a mystery, but not one that can't be explained in a single video. And for this next piece of this strange puzzle, we look to either Brooklyn or Queens. I could never figure out his accent. This is Doggy, and he's an editor. Not just that, but he's also one of the most important aspects of this new changing landscape in the Geometry Dash community. In the GD community, editing before the time of Doggy and Nepesta was reserved pretty much only for making short announcement videos or something similar to that. However, the two aforementioned people completely changed that. Stream highlights were always present on YouTube, and were also definitely present in the Geometry Dash YouTube community, but Nepesta's channel was a first in many ways. As I mentioned before, Nepesta was riding a huge algorithmic wave right after Kinos because of the YouTube algorithm. But after Kinos, his video format completely changed. In order to properly juxtapose his new upload style with Doggy at the helm with the traditional, conformist way the Geometry Dash player base typically uploads content, we have to closely examine the latter. Traditionally, Geometry Dash demon grinders uploaded very simple content. They'd record themselves beating a level, they'd have a big reaction, upload it to YouTube with a fancy thumbnail, and depending on the difficulty of the levels they beat, would gain subscribers and views just based off of that simple video style. A good example of this would be Sonic's. With the exception of a few videos, his Geometry Dash content solely revolved around a level completion, and it worked. He is one of the most successful players in terms of YouTube growth in the history of the game. This is just the way things were done, but there was an emerging problem. As time went on, more and more players became skilled enough to generate an audience based off of what levels they could beat. However, not everyone can be successful doing the same thing. Inevitably, some players that had the talent went unrecognized, unappreciated for their skill. And, as always, innovation led to the downfall of norms that had been held for years. So, what's new? What's the innovation? Well, stream highlights have been a staple in the community for years, but never had they been mainstream in the way they've become recently. However, this type of video format is really great for the three main factions on YouTube. The first quote-unquote faction is the viewer base. Typically, viewers on YouTube enjoy watching fast-paced videos that don't bore them or don't push their attention span. Quick, fun, 10-ish minute videos so they can move on to the next one as soon as possible. For the viewers, Doggy is the keystone that keeps this faction entertained and coming back for more. The next faction is the content creators themselves. For a while on YouTube, the minimum video length needed to be able to play mid-roll ads was 10 minutes. Very recently, this was dropped down to 8 minutes. Videos that maintain viewer retention long enough to show mid-roll ads will earn the content creator the maximum possible revenue. Finally, we have YouTube itself. YouTube's goal is to keep viewers on the site for as long as possible, and to do so, will use their finely tuned algorithm. If they think the viewer is getting bored of constantly scrolling, the algorithm will show a new video in hopes of getting the attention of the viewer, thus making them click on the video. This way, YouTube will be able to show them as many ads as possible, earning them 45% of all revenue generated by the content creator. To sum it all up, the viewer watches and is entertained by a stream highlight styled video, which keeps them on YouTube, which then shows them ads. This generates money for both YouTube and the creator of the video. Win, win, win for all parties. This means that stream highlights videos are now some of the most successful Geometry Dash videos on the platform. Okay, so what's the revolution here? Before I continue, I want to make something clear. I'm giving a lot of credit to Nepesta and Doggy in this video, but they by no means were the original creators of this new video style. I decided to make them the focal point of this video because I think they really capitalized on their video format. There were, for sure, people doing this before Nepesta or Doggy, but the key to Nepesta's success, as I said, was his original algorithmic wave. People like Eric Van Wilderman, Trusta, or Brandon Larkin have built themselves an incredibly impressive career over so many years, which in turn kept the stream highlights or play and commentate video format alive in the community. The reason I've named Nepesta the Jean-Paul Marat in this revolution is because of the frankly genius way he managed to take advantage of his channel blowing up, being able to keep the momentum going, and kicking off the newest revolution in the Geometry Dash community, the content revolution. As I've said, the stream highlights videos have been the main driving force behind this shift in the community. They provide entertaining videos to watch that make all three factions on YouTube happy. However, we're also starting to see more and more rise in content creators that do videos similar to this one, where they write a script, read it, and edit the video later. This style of video was largely pioneered by C1997, a popular Geometry Dash YouTuber from a few years ago. Since then, C has moved on to creating different style videos, which is remarkably rare in the Geometry Dash community. It's maybe even worth making a video about this subject, since it's really interesting to me to see how most Geometry Dash viewers won't watch non-GD content from a channel that mainly uploaded Geometry Dash to grow. Anyway, C pioneered this video style for Geometry Dash, but now the community is starting to see an increase in this style video. People like Elfritz, Norkwork, Blue, HJ Fod, and Woolsey do this video style a lot, and all of them have very successful channels. It seems to me like more and more viewers are turning away from the traditional completion video for GD content and are looking elsewhere for more intelligent, thoughtful, and interesting videos. This is a really drastic change from the previous norms of the community, and I'll definitely be interested to see how it pans out. That being said, here are my predictions for how the GD YouTube community will change as a result of the content revolution. In order to try and predict how content on YouTube will change in the coming years, we have to look at how it already has changed. There has been an exponential growth of channels uploading either stream highlights videos or scripted videos since their inception. It started with 1 or 2 people, which turned into 10, which turned into what it is now, with tons of channels uploading these kinds of videos. If this trend continues, I can see most channels that upload Extreme Demon completions switching to 8 to 10 minute stream highlights videos, and loads more channels uploading scripted videos. For prediction number 1, I'm going to say that by 2022, a majority of Geometry Dash channels will upload some form of edited or scripted content. For prediction number 2, I'm going to make some assumptions. If more and more channels start uploading this kind of content, they will retain viewers more than a traditional Geometry Dash channel. This is a little complicated, so bear with me. Branding is crucial to maintaining an audience for a long time. Traditional channels that upload traditional completion videos don't really have any unique aspects and are replaceable in a way. Sure, you could be a top player now, but at some point another person will take that title from you, and viewers will watch them instead of you. Monopoly is a term that's used when a company or brand has no competition, so if channels want to guarantee long-term stability, they have to innovate. They have to create a brand for themselves that's memorable and unique. If they don't, someone who does what they do but better will eventually take over for them. Prediction number 2 is that there will be a significant decrease in the amount of channels that upload traditional completion videos within the coming years, as a small pool of channels will monopolize the viewer base for completion videos. If more channels start uploading scripted and edited content, the brand will keep audiences engaged and coming back for more. As time goes by, they will keep their audience, which will age. Instead of having a community of young children, I could see these channels having more mature, thoughtful viewers who demand more thoughtful and mature content. That's not to say that the channels who make these videos will stop making Geometry Dash content, but more to say that these channels will grow with the audience. For prediction number 3, I think that edited and scripted videos will grow longer in length, maybe to 20 minutes on average, and will be more complex and thoughtful. Usually, predictions never age well. There was a video made by C a few years back, predicting how Geometry Dash would be different in the future. I rewatched it recently, and I don't think any of the predictions really ended up becoming true. I definitely look forward to seeing if any of the 3 predictions I just listed end up becoming reality. I would say the most likely one to become true would be the first one, and the least likely would be the third one. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video if you made it to the end, and have a good one.